Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Nicole with Ever the Light, and today we will move through about a 60-minute lunge sequence. We'll start with a warm-up, work into some sun salutations, and then we'll do some variations of high crescent lunge, and then eventually cool down. So meet me on your mat in a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you today. You can bring your legs out long if that feels better, or you can take this gentle kind of butterfly or diamond shape where your soles of feet touch. Or you can come into this cross-legged Sukhasana easy seat. Remember that I'm just here to guide you. This is your practice, so you ultimately decide what you do or don't do today. If something's ever not feeling right, skip it, take a beat, take a break, come back in and rejoin if and when you're ready to. You could have a couple of blocks today. I will cue with them at certain points. You don't have to have blocks, so they're not a necessity, but they can help to bring the ground closer to provide you a little bit of stability in certain areas. So if you've got them, feel free to have them nearby. So we'll start in our seat here. Find your sit bones and just start to arrive. Shine your crown towards the sky. Bring your spine long. Shoulders up, back, and down. Palms can be in your lap, face up or face down, whatever comes naturally, whatever feels comfortable for you. I invite you to close your eyes if you'd like. You can keep them open as well. Either way, start tapping into your breath, just noticing it. Not necessarily manipulating it anyway. Noticing your inhales and your exhales. Maybe thinking inhaling as you breathe in and exhaling as you breathe out. Remembering that your breath is what ties you to each moment. So it's our anchor, really, throughout life and throughout our practice, especially today. So if you're ever feeling pulled off of your mat, if your mind wanders, if you're struggling in a pose, remember, bring your focus back to your breath. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. Inhaling, exhaling. If there's any intention you'd like to bring with you today, you can go ahead and think of it now. Just saying it mentally to yourself. It could be a word, could be a phrase, could be a feeling. And then when you're ready to do so, you can gently open your eyes if you've had them closed. And we'll start with 3 breaths together here. Let's inhale our arms up and overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. 2 more times. Inhaling, arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. Last time, inhale, circling up. And exhale, palms touch, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, lead with your heart, and fold forward over your legs. And stay up a little higher on this first forward fold. Full breaths in and full breaths out. is the goal throughout this whole practice today. Gently coming back up to center. Let's take a few hip circles here. So sit bones stay grounded. Let's just move our hips one direction, forward and around, making small circles. Maybe they get bigger. Just a few times one direction, and then switching directions when it feels natural to do so. Coming back to stillness, back to center here. Let's find that long spine once again. Let's bring our left ear to left shoulder, right fingertips down to the ground beside you, maybe putting some gentle pressure into the earth. Breathing here. Inhaling up to center and exhaling other side. Right ear, right shoulder, left fingertips down to the earth. Gentle pressure in the fingers. And coming back up to center. If you'd like a few neck rolls, just listen to how you're feeling today and take it gently. You can bring an ear to one shoulder, chin to chest, and around. Maybe you go back, chin goes up towards the sky. And then switching directions. Just gently. And we'll meet back in the middle. Meet in the middle. Let's inhale, arms up. And then exhale, side bend to the left. So that right arm comes up and then over. Getting into that side body here. Collarbone stays open wide and spine is long. Coming down any amount. Maybe you're a little higher, maybe you're lower, maybe you're on a block. Back up to center on your next inhale, and exhale, take it to the other side. Left arm up and over. And inhaling back up. Exhale, hands to heart center. If you're in a cross-legged position, go ahead and switch the cross of your legs, bringing the opposite one in front. Or not. If you're comfortable where you are, that's perfectly fine. Let's inhale, arms up. And then exhale, twist to your left. So maybe right hand comes to the top of that left thigh. Maybe left hand comes behind you as a brace. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, twist. Maybe gaze goes over that back shoulder. Inhale, turning back to center, arms up. And exhale, twist to the other side. Coming over to your right. Left hand comes to the top of that thigh. And right hand maybe comes to fingertips on the ground behind you. It's just acting as a brace. We're not putting too much weight in that back hand. Think of inhaling and lengthening that spine up. And then twisting from the midsection on that exhale. Maybe gaze goes over that back shoulder. Let's inhale back to center, arms up, and then exhale one more time, hinging at the hips, coming forward to a fold. Maybe you come down a little deeper on this one. Taking a few full breaths in and out here. And gently walking yourself back up to a seat. We'll move over to our tabletop position here, so hands and knees. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's inhale, drop our bellies, lift our hearts. And exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin to your chest and push the ground away. Inhale, drop your belly, heart lifts, tail lifts. Exhale, round. Tuck your chin to your chest and push those fingers into the ground. Repeating this a few more times. Inhale, arch your spine for cow pose. And exhale, round your back for that cat. One more time. Drop your belly, lift your heart. Cow pose. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin to your chest and push the ground away for that cat. Adding in any other movements that feel organic to you. Maybe wagging your tail, shifting the hips side to side. Maybe scooting the hips back towards the heels and making some big circles that way. You will see cats, if you don't already know. I've got 3 of them, and they are part of my practice on the daily. So hopefully they don't get into a fight while we're at this today. So from this tabletop position, let's walk our hands about 1 handprint forward, tuck our toes, and lift our hips up and back, coming in for our first downward facing dog. Remembering we're really pushing the hands into the earth here. Pushing out through the shoulders, hugging those biceps towards one another. If you'd like, you can pedal out the legs here, bending into one knee and the other. Walking out that dog. And then eventually finding stillness. Gazing forward on your next inhale, let's travel our feet to the top of the mat. So maybe you take a few steps to get there. Maybe you take one big step. We'll meet in a forward fold at the top of our mats. Let's take our time in this first one, so bend generously into the knees. Maybe so much that your torso touches the top of your thighs. And just let your head hang here. Maybe you grab for opposite elbows. Maybe you sway side to side. Or stay in stillness. A few full breaths in and out into that back body. Go ahead and drop your hands if they're not there already. Straighten the legs a bit, bring them hips width distance. We'll come in for a halfway lift. So hands can come to shins, bringing our spine long, gazes at the floor, at the ground. You could have blocks here as well. Whatever works for you. One more inhale. And then exhale, finding that forward fold. And then inhaling all the way up, pushing into the ground with the feet. Spine comes up, arms rise. And exhale, hands to heart center. We'll go through a few sun A's here. I will show you some variations for our back bends. So let's find our strong mountain pose, our strong Tadasana here. So all edges of the feet pushing into the earth. We're not gripping with the toes. We're just noticing what it's like to really push the feet into the earth. Long spine, shoulders up, back, and down. Maybe palms shine forward. Let's inhale those arms up. And then exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins, long spine for that halfway lift. Gaze at the ground. And exhale, fold. Let's plant our hands in front of our feet and step our legs back, bringing our knees down, coming down to our bellies, and setting up for Cobra pose here. So hands come down to frame the low ribs, shoulder blades hug together, and elbows are back. Pushing tops of the feet into the earth. Let's inhale, lift our chest forward and up. And then exhale down. Inhale through to a tabletop. And then tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, find your downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze forward, and exhale, travel to the top of your mat and forward fold. Inhale, long spine, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Root to rise, push the feet into the earth and come all the way up, reaching up. Exhale, palms touch, hands to heart center. So our back bend, that time was our Cobra. I will show you an upward facing dog and I'll show you a variation with our tabletop as well. So we'll move through 2 more Sun A's before we move on. So finding our mountain pose, inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Hands to shins, long spine, halfway lift. And exhale, fold, plant the hands, step back. This time, we'll find our plank, our top of a push-up here. So strong shoulders, strong arms, belly pulled in. Whole body's active here. We'll come in for our half push-up, our chaturanga. So take an inhale, and then exhale, bend, elbows straight back, framing the body, finding this halfway push-up, and then flip the toes, straighten the arms, and lift the heart. This is our upward facing dog. Knees are off the mat, hips are off the mat. Arms are straight and gazes to the horizon. And then exhale, push yourself up, flip your toes back for that downward dog. Full breaths in, full breaths out. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale for that halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Root to rise, push into the earth with the feet and come all the way up, reaching up. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time, knowing that any variation of this that we take, you're free to do at any point for the rest of this class. Arms come up, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, long spine, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. This time, step back to a tabletop. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, cow pose. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin to your chest for cat. And then from here, tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back for that downward facing dog. You might play with the foot placement here. Maybe pedaling out, maybe staying in stillness. Gazing forward on your next inhale. Exhale, step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, long spine, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Root to rise, inhaling all the way up, reaching up. And exhaling, hands to heart center. Awesome job. Don't forget your water. Hydration is important. We'll come down to a lunge. So let's bring our left leg forward to start. Right leg comes back. This is a great place for blocks. You can have them at any setting or you don't need them. So finding a comfortable lunge position here, being mindful of that back knee. If you don't have blocks, you can bring your hands to the top of your thigh. You could bring hands to heart center, or you could bring arms up if you'd like a little more today. If you do have blocks, you can bring them to the opposite sides of that front leg. Just breathing here to start, feeling this shape. Being mindful that that left knee is over left ankle. Ooh. And remembering our breath. Maybe seeing what it feels like to squeeze that right glute. Notice how that sensation affects this side of your body. One more inhale. And then exhale, straighten that front leg and shift the hips back. We'll stay up high, we'll just straighten out that leg. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. If you don't have blocks, your hand can still be here on top of your thigh. Inhale forward, exhale back. If you really want more, you can bring your hands up. Inhale forward, and then maybe airplane them back as you move back. Inhale forward, exhale back. One more time, forward and back. This time, let's stay back. Let's bring our toes up, maybe slide that left heel forward a touch, and then pull that left hip back to meet the right. Lengthening the spine on an inhale, maybe folding a bit over that front leg on your exhale. Leading with your heart always. Breathing. Finding your depth, finding your edge. You can come down any amount. Wherever you are is fine. Coming back forward to that lunge on your inhale. We'll take a twist here. So bringing right hand down inside that left foot. Maybe your hand comes to a block. We'll inhale, left arm open and up, twisting, gaze follows that hand. And then exhaling it down. We're gonna just switch legs here, so moving back to a tabletop. And this time bringing right foot forward, setting up for that lunge on this side. Again, blocks if you'd like them. Maybe hands on top of that thigh, hands at heart center, or arms up. Feeling the shape on this side, maybe seeing what it feels like to squeeze that left glute. Maybe noticing the difference. What might feel different on this side of your body. Full breaths in and out. And then we'll move. So inhale, and then exhale, straighten that front leg, bring the hips back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Whatever arm variation serves you. Forward, exhale back. Couple more. Inhale forward, exhale back. forward, and back. This time stay, bring your toes up, flex your foot. Maybe that heel bumps forward a bit. And then pull that left hip back to meet the, right hip back to meet the left. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, maybe you fold. Finding your edge of sensation, honoring your body. Coming back forward to that lunge on your next inhale. We'll take that twist on this side, so maybe your hand comes down to the ground. Maybe you come to fists. Maybe you use your block. Let's inhale that right arm, open and up. Gaze follows. And then down on your next exhale. Let's just step back. Find that tabletop pose, and then we'll take a child's pose here. Just a little reset, so bring your big toes towards touching, hips shift back towards the heels, and then knees can be closer together or knees can be out wide towards the edges of the mat, whichever variation you feel today. Just sinking the chest down. You could come to blocks here. You bring forearms to blocks if the ground feels far away, or you could bring your head to rest on a block. Maybe your forehead comes all the way down to the mat. Full breaths in and out. As you're ready, bring your hands under your shoulders, push yourself back up. Tuck your toes behind you. Push yourself up to stand. However you get there is fine. Slowly coming up. We'll move into our sun bees. So let's find our chair pose. So feet can be about hips width distance. You can bring big toes to touch too. It's whatever feels right in your body. You can play with this as we go. I will show you hips width distance. Bringing hands to heart center. Let's inhale here. And then exhale, shift the hips back, bend the knees, bring weight to the heels here. Lower belly pulls in and up. Maybe pushing into the hands, one hand into the other. Maybe arms come up alongside the ears, shoulder blades together. Full breaths in and full breaths out. One more inhale, and then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, find that halfway lift, long spine. And then exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step your right foot back. And keep the knee lifted, so toes are tucked. We're in this runner's lunge shape here. We'll plant that right hand to the ground or a block, and we'll lift open for this twist. Full breaths in and out. Maybe gaze follows. Back down on the next exhale. Let's spin that right heel down, planting it on the ground. Maybe widening out that front foot a little farther towards the edge of the mat. We're going to lift ourselves up, so maybe we grab for a block to help. We're going to find our warrior one here. So again, you don't have to be on a tightrope. Bending into that left knee, tracking it over the ankle. And then spiraling our chest towards the top of the mat. Maybe bringing the arms to either side. Pushing into the ground evenly with both feet. This is our warrior one. One more inhale. And then exhale, bringing hands down to the ground or to your block. Sorry about the cats. Spiraling that back foot so that you're back up on your toes. Finding this runner's lunge shape once more. And then stepping forward. We'll meet in a forward fold at the top of our mats. Inhaling, finding that halfway lift. And then exhale, fold. Root to rise, coming all the way up, reaching up. And then exhaling, hands to heart center. Let's do that on the other side. Starting with hands at the heart. Let's take a deep inhale. And then exhale, find that chair, shift the hips back, bend the knees, bring weight into the heels. You should feel your glutes activate here. Pulling lower belly in and up. Taking whatever arm variation you'd like. One more inhale and fold forward on your exhale. Maybe you have that block nearby. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, this time stepping left foot back. Finding the runner's lunge shape on this side. And again, opening up for that twist. So on your next inhale, we're opening that right arm up. Maybe gaze follows. Remembering to stay strong in that back leg. And then exhaling down. We'll spiral that left heel in towards the midline. Maybe widen out our feet here. Push into the ground and come on up for your warrior one on this side. Spiraling that chest forward. Right knee over right ankle. Maybe bringing arms up. Equal weight being pushed into the ground with both feet. One more inhale. And then exhale, bringing hands back down. Bumping back up onto those left toes. And then stepping forward to a fold. Halfway lift on your next inhale. And fold, exhale. Root to rise, coming all the way up, reaching up, inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Great job. Doing great, y'all. Let's move into our high crescent. We'll start with a little balance. Just something to kind of get our bodies and our brains in that mode. Hands to heart center or hands at hips here is a great place to start. Bring your weight into your left leg. And just bring those right toes off the ground any amount. Maybe you're a centimeter off the earth. Finding one unmoving single point of focus can help with balance. And then maybe you're circling the ankle one direction and the other. Maybe pointing and flexing the toes. If you'd rather stay grounded here, you can just bump up onto your heel. Kind of take those circles or come onto your toes. Gently move that ankle around. Option to take that knee higher as well. And do this from a little more of a balance challenge standpoint here. You can let that side go whenever you're ready. We'll just do the other. So weight comes into that right leg. Standing leg is active from glutes down to your feet. Bringing left toes off the ground any amount or staying grounded. Finding what might work for you. Circling out that ankle, pointing and flexing the toes. Playing with that balance again, remember, finding one thing that's not moving to focus your gaze on can be helpful with balance. And then letting it go as you're ready. So I'll show you our high crescent lunge. From standing, let's bring our weight into our, right leg. And then just step that left foot back. Adjusting that stance as you bend into that front knee, tracking knee over ankle here. You don't have to be super far. Finding a comfortable lunge position that you can hold. Remember that engaging that back leg is just as important as using this front leg here. So finding your version of crescent lunge. Hands can stay at hips or heart center. If you'd like a little more of a challenge, you can bring your arms up. Just feeling this shape here. Maybe squeezing that back glute, pulling lower belly in and up. One more inhale, and then exhale, step that foot back forward. We're just trying on the shape first before we start adding on a bunch. Let's build our foundations first. That's how you gotta go, right? Ground up. Weight comes into the left leg, hands at heart center, hands at hips. Stepping that right foot back. And finding your stance as you bend into that left knee. When you get to somewhere you feel solid, remind yourself to activate that right leg. Using that right glute, pulling lower belly in and up. Really, really engaged in that back leg just as much as the front leg's working, that back leg's working as well. And maybe playing with arm variations again. You could try cactus arms here if you'd like to pull shoulder blades together and kind of goal post the arms. That's an option as well. One more inhale and then exhale. Maybe you take a few steps to get back forward and shake it out. So we'll do a few variations of our high crescent lunge here. I'm dancing suddenly. Gotta take it if it comes, right? Weight comes into the right leg, stepping left foot back. Actually, back up. My fault. Let's try starting with a little balance. Maybe bringing those left toes off the ground, engaging that right leg from glutes down to your feet. Right leg is active. Maybe bringing left toes off the ground, coming in for our one leg mountain pose, and then hinging at the hips and stepping that left foot back. Just an option. You don't have to get into your crescent lunge this way ever again, but it offers a little practice in proprioception that way. That's sort of the sense of where our body is in space. And stepping back without seeing it is definitely a challenge, but it can help us to sharpen that skill, that proprioception. Stay right here if you feel good. No need to ever do any more. Remembering both legs are active here, belly's in and up. Let's bring those arms up if you'd like a little more of a challenge here. And then on our next exhale, we're going to twist open to the right. So arms come forward and back, like you're trying to reach something in either direction. Gaze comes over the right side. Full breaths in, full breaths out. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, step back up to the top. Shake it out. And we'll do the other side. Weight comes into the left leg. Really strong, really engaged. Bringing right toes off the mat, any amount. Again, this is optional. Inhale here, and then hinge at the hips and step that right foot back, finding your high crescent lunge. Remembering to engage in all those places. Your glutes, your legs, belly in and up. Firm foundations. If you'd like a little more, bring your arms up. Take a deep inhale and then twist to your left. Arms are pulling forward and back. Feet stay strong, legs stay strong. Full breaths in and out. Find one unmoving thing to focus on. Back forward on your next inhale. And then exhale, stepping back to the top of your mat. Shake it out. One more fun thing with high crescent. Let's take a second to have a sip. Bringing weight into the right leg. Maybe taking the toes off the mat, finding that one leg mountain. Really active in the right leg. Inhale here, and then exhale, step that foot back. This time, hinge at the hips, bring that left hand down to the mat or a block here. And inhale, open that right arm up for a twist. Maybe gaze follows. Full breaths in and out, legs are active. And exhale down. Take a breath in, maybe use your blocks, and then step yourself back forward. Gently come back up. We'll do the other side. Weight comes into the left leg. Maybe coming in for that one leg mountain pose. Hinging at the hips, stepping that right foot back. And then bringing right hand to the ground or to a block. Keeping legs active here. Inhale, open up for that twist. Left arm comes up, maybe gaze follows, maybe gaze stays at the ground, out to the side. Full breaths in and full breaths out. Coming back down on your next exhale, take a breath in, and then step back forward. Let's take a fold here. Bending into the knees, letting our heads hang. And then slowly start shifting one knee and the other. Slowly moving your spine up to standing. Last thing to come up is your head. And then we'll find our star pose, bringing legs out wide, heels in, toes out. Arms come up here. A few breaths, just taking up some space. Maybe you move your hips from side to side. Hands come to hips, straighten out those feet so that they're parallel. Toes towards the long edge of your mat. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, hinge at the hips, find a wide leg forward fold. Hands can come to a block here as well. Or you can just let them land as they land. You could grab for opposite ankles, whatever you'd like. On your next inhale, take a halfway lift from here. And then heel toe the feet in, exhaling as you go. We'll crouch touch down, lifting the heels off the mat, coming into this little ball pose. Maybe you take a second for a breath. And then we'll find a seat. The rest of this practice is on the ground. So widen out your heels, down, toes up, a little wider than hips width distance here. Long spine, so maybe hands are supporting you a bit, not too much. We're not dumping, so still using our core here to keep us upright. Take a deep inhale and then exhale. Bring your knees over to the left. You can play around with placement here. Maybe feet need to be closer together. Maybe you need to have your heels a little farther away from your hips. Just finding what works in your body. Wherever you're at, inhale for center. Exhale, knees to the right. Just moving side to side, breath to movement at your own pace. And then we'll take our bound angle pose, our butterfly. Soles of the feet to touch, finding your sit bones, maybe bringing blocks under the knees if that's serving you at this moment. Completely optional. Take a few breaths here. Maybe hands are on ankles or just on the ground or on your lap here. If you'd like to take a fold, you can. If you'd like to gently move knees up and down. If you're coming in for a fold, really find your sit bones. Bring your spine long on an inhale and then lead with your heart on an exhale. You can play with, how far you want to go with this. If you want your heels in closer, if you really are trying to get those knees to the earth. It's just whatever feels good to you. I keep saying that, but it's true. Just bears repeating, I feel, because people forget that we're really our own best teachers. Our bodies usually tell us what we need or what's not serving us. Gently moving out of that, I will show you a hero's pose. It'll be a little modified. So you can come to sit on one block or two. It's just going to be dependent on everyone's body. So coming to sit maybe with my right glute on the block here. Right leg will be extended out in front of us. Enough space so that you can bring this top of your left foot down. If this doesn't work for you, skip it. Gently leaning back, maybe fingertips come to the ground. And then just pointing that heel towards the back of pointing that tailbone towards the back of that left knee. Getting into the front of that left leg. Again, you could be on one block here if that's feels better in your body. And you don't have to have blocks at all. But it depends. Everyone's mobility is different and every day is different, honestly. So maybe no block. Maybe noticing if it's different with the block. If sensation is different. Gently bringing left leg around. We're going to try that on the other side. So maybe starting with those 2 blocks. Sitting that left glute on the blocks, leg extended, and then bending that right leg. I'll turn so you can see me here. Bending that right leg so that the top of your right foot is kind of underneath you. Gently backing up, finding those fingertips, and then tilting your tailbone towards the back of that right knee. Full breaths in, full breaths out. Maybe playing with it. Seeing how it changes as you change your props, as you change your variation. And then gently coming out. We'll bring our legs long, find our staff pose, Dandasana. Sit bones ground. Feet are relatively active here and spine is long. Hands can come to either side of your hips. Let's inhale, arms up, and then exhale, twist to your right. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist, maybe gazing over that back shoulder. Arms up, back to center on your next inhale. And then exhale, twist the other side to the left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Maybe gaze follows. Inhaling back to center, and this time exhale, hinge at the hips, find a forward fold. Maybe hands land outside your legs, maybe you kind of grab for your ankles or your toes. Inhale, think of lengthening that spine, and then exhale, maybe you fold a little deeper, maybe. Gentle bend in the knees here. And full breaths in and out. And gently come back up. We'll come all the way to our backs. Gently coming down. We'll take a few windshield wipers here. So maybe widening the feet down, soles of the feet on the mat, knees up towards the sky. Inhale for center, and then exhale, knees to the left, any amount. Inhale, center, exhale, right. A few times either side. And we'll set up for our bridge pose here. I will show you a supported bridge to start if this is a variation you'd like to take. This is what you do today. So soles of the feet down, knees towards the sky, about hips width distance. Push into the feet just enough so you can slip the block underneath your sacrum. You're really not trying to get this block underneath your low back as much as you're trying to get it under the hips, under the sacrum. Playing a little bit, seeing how it feels. Depending on your body, it might feel better to move the block up a setting. I'm pretty short. I have a pretty short torso personally, so usually the first setting is enough for me, but just experimenting, seeing what might feel right for you in this moment. And then you could just stay here and breathe. You could extend one leg, just letting that foot fall to the side. Spend some time there and then do the other leg. Could be a lot for the low back, but you could extend both legs. Just some options for you. So you can just stay in that supported bridge if that's what you're feeling. If you'd like to experience a little more, let's get rid of that block. Set up for bridge here, so heels a little closer to the hips. They don't have to be super, super close, but a little closer than you'd normally be. Hands come down, palms to the earth alongside you. On the next inhale, lift your hips, really push your heels into the earth. Use your glutes here. Keep that core engaged to protect your low back. And tilt your tailbone towards the backs of your knees. Full breaths in and out. You can snuggle your shoulders underneath you here if you want a little more height and just kind of use your triceps to help push you, or you can keep hands down on the ground. Breathing here. then gently exhaling, coming down one vertebra at a time. Maybe you take a few more windshield wipers, widen those feet out, and knock the knees from one side to the other. Any last little movements you'd like here, I invite you to take. Maybe you like to take a butterfly pose from your back here, a supine butterfly. Soles of the feet to touch, knees out on either side. You can always bring blocks under the knees again. Don't forget about your blocks. This is just an option. You could come in for a happy baby where you bend into the knees and bring the soles of the feet up towards the sky. Hands can come behind the knees, maybe widening out those hips. You can reach for your ankles or for your feet if that's accessible. Any last little things you're feeling. We'll set up for our resting shape. So finding your Shavasana, whatever it looks like for you today, you could come all the way down to your back. Let your feet kind of fall open, palms up. Or you could take a constructive rest. Maybe if your lower back's not feeling so hot today, this is a good variation. Knees come up, feet widen out, and knees knock in towards one another here. Or you could take your Shavasana seated if you prefer that. That's absolutely perfect as well. So wherever you are in your resting pose, go ahead and close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. Reconnect with your breath. Noticing each inhale and each exhale as it comes. Maybe reconnecting with any intention, any sentiment, any thought you've brought with you for practice today. If your mind is starting to wander, I invite you to think of the word here on your inhales and the word now on your exhales. So inhaling here, exhaling now. You can just let your mind wander as well. This is your time. We'll just take a few minutes here. Let our practice absorb and let our nervous systems reset. So the next time you hear my voice, I will be guiding you out. Enjoy your Shavasana. I invite you to stay in your Shavasana as long as you'd like. Feel free to pause this video if you'd like to spend more time here. If you're ready to move on, gently start bringing some movement back into your limbs, into fingers and toes, rolling wrists and ankles, maybe taking some windshield wipers or pulling knees to chest and taking a few gentle rocks in any direction. Gently making your way up to a seat in your own time. We'll close our practice today with 3 collective breaths. So finding your sit bones, shining your crown towards the sky, spine is long. Let's take an inhale, filling all the way up, belly, ribs, and chest. And then exhale out the nose or the mouth, pulling that belly in and up. 2 more times. Inhale, filling all the way up, all the way to your belly. And then exhaling it out. One more time. Deep inhale, belly, ribs, and chest. Biggest breath of the day. And then exhale out. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. The light in me honors the light in you. I'll see you next time.